Welcome back to In the Cards and Stars. I'm your host, Britt Madrid Mogensen, and today we have LeAura Luciano on the show to talk about pop culture moments from 2024. You know LeAura from her amazing podcast, What's Your Skincare Routine with LeAura Luciano, and here she is. Thanks, LeAura.
Hi, Britt. Thanks for having me.
I'm so glad you're here. You are like my go-to for anything pop culture. You are the one who has recommended the videos on my channel that have performed the best. You just have like a knack for pop culture. Like you know what's happening. So I'm so glad you're here to inform us all.
I'm chronically
chit-chat.
online and happy to be here.
So glad. So glad. Okay, so where should we start? We have so much to get into. We did a part 1, by the way, you guys, over on LeAura's podcast. What's Your Skincare Routine with LeAura Luciano? Look it up, subscribe. It's very good. Okay, so how about we start with kind of where we left off, I guess, Selena Gomez.
Yeah.
We talked about her a little bit. We promised a card pull.
Absolutely.
Let's open with that.
Yeah.
So what are your thoughts on Selena Gomez? What do you think about her ring, her engagement?
Okay,
Tell us while I shuffle.
So, her engagement, I think that's going to be really interesting to pull. But also, she's in a really big movie this year called Amelia Perez, which is on Netflix. She's singing in the film. So, there could be a chance to see her, maybe she'll be nominated. I mean, the film is very buzzworthy and might be nominated. She might be nominated for her role.
Wow.
So we might see her on red carpets.
Ooh.
We don't know. And also, she's newly engaged to Benny Blanco.
Yes.
And I just kind of want to see where that goes.
Same. Like, I wonder if she's going to do a public wedding, private.
So maybe
what's she going to wear?
The question is maybe about her wedding, but also maybe about what's in store for 2025.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay, what's in store, allegedly for entertainment purposes only, for Selena Gomez for 2025? Okay, this is so weird because LeAura, I actually did a reading on her, I think it was like a week ago, and I got the 7 of Cups. I am not kidding. Now we have the 7 of Cups in reverse. It seems like she has finally overcome her indecision. And when it first happened, we pulled this card and it seemed like she was having a lot of different choices to make when it comes to wedding planning, as you do. Where are we going to get married? Who are we going to invite? What to wear? Yeah. Well, in the reverse, it seems like they've made some decisions. So I think they know what they're doing now, which is cool. Okay. Anything else, I guess, about her 2025 in general? That does seem to be about her love life.
I mean, she's so successful already. So,
Well, as you can see by LeAura's reaction, the 3 of Swords. Now, this is general. So I'm going to take this as more of a career card. So I do think we don't want to manifest this. We all have free will. It could change. But as of right now, there's some sort of disappointment that she may face. I think this is in her career. And she's very successful. But I think there might be a private sort of disappointment.
Okay.
Maybe she's nominated for something and maybe she doesn't end up winning that award, and maybe she wins a different award, or maybe there's a song that she wants to put out and it might have to wait for a different time or a different year. But there's some sort of 3 of Swords, especially with her being creative. 3 is creativity as well. So there's something creatively going on for her that may be a little bit of a disappointment in 2025. So that's a bummer, but it seems like other things are going to be going really well. And that could just be a minor blip. A lot of reverse cards today. Okay. 3 of Cups reverse. I think she has to be careful about who she surrounds herself with this year.
Oh, okay.
There could be some friends who are not as genuine as she currently believes them to be.
Okay.
3 of Cups, another 3. Oh, maybe this is the heartbreak. We have 2 3s. Maybe this is the heartbreak. This could be someone that she works with. So maybe it's not a creative disappointment. Maybe it's a disappointment in one of her friends that she's made in the industry.
Yeah, I think also when it comes to and she's newly engaged and who knows how long weddings take. She could already be married for all we know for entertainment purposes only. But, or it could be a year in the making. We don't know.
Sure.
So I'm seeing when you talk about friendships and weddings, there's always drama with weddings.
There
and
really
I can imagine the scale of this type of wedding, even if she just has close friends. That's at least 200 people. I mean, I don't know. So I think when you kind of scale things up, or even if it's a very intimate, let's say it's a Las Vegas wedding, you still have the eyes of the public. And
for sure.
So I think that could come into play. Maybe people that are, part of the wedding party. And you hear of these things with celebrities all the time, with people selling pictures or
I was thinking that
that
too when
kind
you
of
said
thing.
that. Mhm.
Maybe it's I'm not manifesting this, but like maybe a leak dress reveal or something like
Right.
that. Something that's in the grand scheme of things, not that big of a deal,
Yes.
but also because she's a celebrity, it could be like a people exclusive or something, and she has agreements that she wants to protect. So that's the vibe I'm getting. It might
Okay,
not
I
even
like
be
that.
something that we know, because I think, like you're saying, I think the cards may be pointing to something more personal, like that
Mhm.
publicly we might not see,
Yes.
or it might not be a big deal or like register for us, but it could be
Mhm.
something that is a big deal for her.
Yeah, that's a really, really good take. I think your intuition is spot on that. I was also checking the bottom of the deck, what we don't see.
Okay.
And then I was like kind of just holding it and it fell down. So it was like definitely confirmation. And we got this for her last time as well, the 10 of Cups. So that's
Oh.
double confirmation that she is very happy.
Good.
Ultimately, that is kind of the energy that we don't see, as the public, but she's truly very happy. And 10 of Cups is like a wish fulfillment in your love life and family life. So she's doing great. That's really good. It's going to be a very joyful year for her. So that's
Good.
always good to see.
Yeah.
Good for her. I
Yeah.
like it. Okay. I like it. So we got the Selena Gomez tea.
All right.
Check. Okay, moving on to some other recaps and I don't know, other predictions as well.
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear what you think about social media, LeAura, because you're an amazing content creator. You're always traveling, working with brands. And I feel like you do so many amazing things. You guys follow her on Instagram. What are you noticing? What have you seen in 2024? What do you think is going to change, like from your perspective?
I mean,
It's a lot, right?
Yeah, there's so much. I mean, the writing is on the wall for TikTok.
Mhm.
That as a platform, TikTok has exploded since 2020, really, and now it is facing a ban in the U.S. on January 19th, and it's not looking favorable for TikTok. So
Mhm.
we are facing a potential platform ban, and this is the first time we're seeing this with any social media platform.
Yeah,
So
the
it's going to be
first.
really interesting what it does, the impact and the ramifications on the creator economy,
Mhm.
but also small businesses,
Mhm.
because part of TikTok, especially in the past 2 or 3 years, is really like the TikTok shop and the live shopping elements,
Right.
that are so popular and really are, I think, I know I have the numbers in here, but it was, let's see, the contribution of like TikTok sales in the US taxes in millions of dollars, let's just say. I know I can safely say that. I don't know where that is in the notes right now.
Oh, dang.
But
Trying to find it for you.
it's going to be interesting to see that. But also what I wanted to mention, because we are talking a lot about music, is the impact on the music industry. Because
Mhm.
with TikTok, that's where you really start seeing a lot of trends.
Okay.
So there's trends, there's artists being able to communicate directly with their audience and their
Mhm.
fans. So I remember like learning about a Lil Nas X
Okay.
song when he first came out, and he was dropping new music on the platform all the time, teasing songs in a way where, back in my day,
Yeah.
we had MTV.
Yes.
And you had TRL,
TRL, the
Request
countdown.
Live.
Yes.
Yes. So you'd have your favorite artists come on and talk about like their new songs, or
Mhm.
you'd have like the countdown. So we don't have that anymore. And
Mhm.
TikTok kind of became that way. And you'd see viral performances like NPR's Tiny Desk performances, where you'd see
Okay.
sort of maybe up and coming artists, or maybe they were already your favorite artists,
Right.
but you got to see them showcased in a different way.
Mhm.
So that was something that TikTok and the nature of the algorithm and the, kind of the pushing towards virality, I think, really helped to amplify, like seeing new creators, new music as well.
Mhm.
And I feel like there's no other platform that's really doing that right now.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see the impact of, the viral sounds, from songs, whether they're current new songs or songs that are kind of like brought back up because there's like a dance trend that like kind of revives a song from, who knows, it could be
Right.
60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, early 2000s. So
Yeah.
it's going to be really interesting to see. I know on YouTube, for example, like it's really hard because there's so many, with other people sharing music because of copyright. So it's one of those things, it doesn't always lend itself to, virality in the same way as a platform like TikTok.
Do you think that any of those platforms, like, any of the Meta platforms or YouTube would make some changes to their policies or their algorithm to try to maybe replace or replicate TikTok? 'Cause I feel like that opens up a really big space for another platform to
Yeah.
slide in there and possibly
That's
take over that.
that's really hard to say because with Meta, it's like we as like the, consumers of these platforms, we don't know.
Right.
We're not
We don't know
privy
what
to
they're
the
doing.
algorithm. So maybe it's about a new platform emerging. Maybe there'll be, or
Ooh.
maybe it could be an existing platform like SoundCloud or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe something
Mhm.
that kind of spotlights independent artists a little bit more. I don't know what that is yet, but it'll be interesting to see. But I really think overall, in terms of the trends on social media, I think my plan is really leaning on Instagram because I think that's my biggest platform.
Mhm.
And then also, much like you, like leaning into YouTube as well.
Yeah.
In addition to Spotify and Apple Podcasts, wherever you
Sure.
have your podcast,
We put it all out there.
that
Distribute,
RSS
distribute,
stream, yep,
distribute. Yeah.
it's everywhere.
It's
So
everywhere.
it's just about we're gonna see where creators go. And
Mhm.
it's kind of, I think it's exciting in a way where you are going to have creators and their audiences looking for a new home. So if
Totally.
somebody is able to build that and kind of have a welcome place for creators who are looking to take their audiences, I think those platforms are going to be the winners.
Okay, interesting. We'll have to
Yeah.
see what happens. And on that same note with social media and kind of what happened in 2024, I do have some pretty wild pop culture social
Okay.
media moments that
Okay.
occurred. And I am curious to know what your thoughts are
Let's
on
get
these things.
into it.
Maybe even pull some cards then at the end of this to see what kind of content will be popular. Maybe we can
Yeah.
even see if there will be a new platform.
Okay.
We'll ask the cards as
All
we
right.
do. So, my first trend that I thought was pretty interesting was the rise of the TikTok tell all series. That was huge
Yes.
in
Yes.
2024. And what comes to mind for me are just, I'm just going to list them and then we can talk about
Yeah.
them if we
Yeah.
want to, discuss them. The Who the F Did I Marry 50-part TikTok series by
Mhm.
Risa Tisa that documented her marriage and divorce. That was the first of its kind. We had never seen a 50-part TikTok series before.
No.
Taking short form content,
Yep.
making it long form. And then Brooke Schofield, her relationship
Yes.
with singer Clinton Kane, and then her cancellation due to racist remarks, which then happened subsequent to that. And then now she's having like another, a low because people discovered old tweets and
Yeah.
old things that came
Yeah.
to light. Then we had Madeline Argy and Central C, and then Ice Spice in the middle of that.
Yes.
And then Aspen Ovard's divorce. I have never really followed her very much, but I do know that that was a big one for the social media community.
Yeah.
I don't know if she did a tell-all series, but she definitely took people behind the curtain in a way that she had never done during their
Oh,
marriage.
absolutely.
What are your thoughts,
So
LeAura?
the Tell All series is brilliant because I think it speaks to I think the direction that we're moving in the entertainment industry.
Okay.
Right. So you have content creators that are amazing storytellers,
Mhm.
brilliant storytellers, and can literally put their phone in front of their face and tell you a story and you're going to be sucked in. And it's just,
Yes.
and that's what entertainment is all about. That's
Mhm.
what, when we had must see TV,
Yes.
that's what it was all about. You'd sit around and everybody would talk about it. We don't necessarily have like those, we don't have the monoculture anymore
Mhm.
where everybody's watching the same show on Thursday night and talks about it.
Right. Yeah.
But if you and your friends are in the same kind of algorithm, you'll,
Yes.
and even if you're not, sharing these viral clips,
Mhm.
you can kind of impact their,
Yeah,
pages
build these little
and yeah.
communities and you're like,
Yeah.
funny seeing you here on this corner of
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah. And I think it's so interesting because especially with Risa Tisa doing a 50-part series, so
Wow.
she's doing long form content,
Mhm.
but on a short form content platform and
Right.
delivered in short form content. So
Mhm.
bites. So that leads to virality, because sometimes you'll be in the middle of a story and you'll get like, part 3 or something, or part 7. And you're like, wait, how many parts does this have? And then you have to go back and watch it and you're invested, because you're like, wait, I saw part 7 and I saw part 3 come up. Now I've got to go back to the start and watch the whole thing.
Right.
So I think this is one of those things that's really interesting. And I also think that Hollywood is going to be looking to creators to really see what is capturing audience's attention.
Interesting.
Because, I mean, that's what the creator economy is all about. That's what social media is all about. It's the attention economy, right? Like,
totally.
Where do we spend our time? Where are our eyeballs?
Yes.
So I think that's a big part of it. So I think so you have creators like these that are able to make these, viral content, whether it's out of like tragedy or trauma or something negative, that can be leveraged as entertainment. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that morally now that I say it out loud, but that's kind of where we're at.
Well, that's wow. You really summed that up so well. And I think it is really interesting. And it is something that kind of took over. And I feel like with Pluto in Aquarius now and for the next 20 years, which we talked about a little bit on our part 1 over on LeAura's podcast, I feel like that is going to continue, where we want content that's, I know it's a buzzword, like relatable, but I really do feel like when we were listening to these creators share these stories, it kind of gives you the feeling of like FaceTiming a friend and someone's telling you about like, this horrible date they had or a really bad experience. And it makes you feel like you guys are on the same level. It's really sharing like with your community, with your friends. And that's very Aquarius. It's like all of us on the same level, sharing what we're going through, connecting, having empathy for each other. And I think the creators that are willing to do that, they're doing it right in accordance with, at least with the stars,
I think so too.
It's where we're moving. And so, so that is interesting. Another one, someone else who's kind of on that same note, they didn't do a TikTok tell-all, but it was definitely a tell-all. Brianna Chickenfry and her breakup with Bryan.
Right.
And then subsequently, this just came out, I think yesterday, her podcast with her best friend, who's a friend of the show. She's been on the show. We did a reading for her. She's very nice. Grace O'Malley, who's a comedian. And she announced yesterday that she left Barstool amid the drama. This blew up on Reddit. And that's another thing. I think communities, again, Pluto and Aquarius, it's just, if you can build a community, if you can leverage a community, whether it's about gossip or whatever, it's like a big friend group. And so people were already finding out that this stuff was happening before Brianna announced it. It's like all the Redditors were right, which was pretty interesting to see. They were kind of involved in it. But she exposed basically what happened with their relationship. So it's a lot of people who, if anybody's in a place of power, they have money, think that they have that top-down power over the next 20 years, I just think that it's not going to work anymore. People are going to be telling the true story behind what's going on.
Yeah.
They're not hiding things anymore. And she's a Gemini. So he should have known. She was going to, Geminis are very talkative, And Aquarius is trying her Gemini sun. So it was going to come out. So, so that's one thing. And then the Victoria's Secret fashion show made a comeback. And people said that they may have missed the mark. What did you think about that, LeAura? Because that was kind of a big moment. They've been gone for a long time.
Yeah. I think, with Victoria's Secret, like what they're known, Victoria's Secret fashion show is sort of known for over the top opulence,
right?
And even in probably the last few shows leaned into that camp element, really like over the top costumes. And I think the idea is based on, runway fashion. They sell lingerie, underwear,
right?
And a lot of it is shoppable, but a lot of things were made exclusively for the runway in years past. And I feel like in this recent show, these were things that were very shoppable and maybe a little bit too, kind of direct to consumer in that way.
A little too shoppable. Not
like,
enough of the fun
wings over the top. Like they're known for, every year it was like, at first it was like the $1 million bra. Then it was like the $2 million like diamond encrusted bra or whatever. And they didn't really have that this year in the same way. So it just seemed a little bit more stripped down. And I know they made attempts at more inclusivity. I'm not sure. I think that still missed the mark and
room for improvement there for sure.
Yeah. However, there was a few years back, I went to a show during Fashion Week, and Victoria's Secret does have a selection of apparel that's for, differently abled people.
They
That's
do?
adaptable fashion.
I did
So
not know
yeah,
that. And
so
they've had that for a few years?
they've had it for a few years now, and it would have been really interesting to see among the diversity of models, maybe somebody who, was, just they could have done a little bit more. I know they brought a lot
I
of big
agree.
names out. There could have been, I'm not sure. I'm not sure what could have been done differently exactly, but
Right.
I do feel like it just missed the mark. It was
Mhm.
fun to see. It kind of does feel a little nostalgic.
Right, it
It's great to
does.
see supermodels. Like, who doesn't want to see like fabulous, fabulously
The
dressed?
glamour, the makeup, the hair,
Exactly.
it really
Exactly.
felt like costumes
Yeah.
too in the past,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
the cohesive theme, almost like, when you go to a Broadway show and you see these Lion King, one of my favorite
Yes.
Broadway
Oh,
shows. It's like you go in there and you're not just listening to the songs, you're not just listening to the
right.
story, you're looking at the costumes and the
Absolutely.
set. And it's like,
Absolutely.
wow, this feels like I'm in a different world.
Yeah.
That part, right? That part is part of what makes it fun. And yeah, definitely I agree with you not going all out for that. And then also the inclusivity. I just got this feeling that people are so sophisticated right now. The consumer is so sophisticated now. The things that used to work, I'm going to call back to it when Pluto was in Capricorn, are not going to work with Pluto in Aquarius. And
Mm.
that's just where we're at now. So I feel like people have to know that it's genuine. If you're going
Yeah.
to be
Yeah.
inclusive, we need to see that it's genuine, and we need to see that it's not just happening at this time of the year for this one show. I agree with you about the adaptability. That would have
Mhm.
been great. Also, I heard people say that, and because I didn't really, I saw clips of it, but I didn't watch the whole
Okay.
thing, to be honest. But I heard people say that some of the models who were like the plus size models that they brought out, they were wearing different types of clothing that was more covered up than some of the
Mm.
other straight size models. And I was like, okay, well, that's weird too.
Yeah.
I just feel like we need to be genuine and we need to reevaluate. And maybe it's whoever's in charge needs to be someone that really is like, I don't know, maybe involved in like different types of women's groups and education and charities that have to do with really
Yeah.
helping women in their self-esteem.
Yeah.
Like I want to see them make amends, okay? Like I want to
Well,
hold their
yeah,
feet to the fire a little
I
bit.
I agree.
Like let's get genuine about it, you guys.
Diversity in the boardroom is really where it starts,
Mhm.
I mean, that's why,
Yeah, and who are their executives? That'd be interesting
right,
to see too,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And so much did happen during that time period, and as millennials, if you guys are watching and you're a millennial, then I mean, a lot of it was
Yeah.
pretty damaging to see how thin they were, and then it was exposed later that they were doing all these unhealthy things, and it was really
Mhm.
rough on the models,
Yeah.
and I feel like even getting involved in some sort of or funding some sort of program that helps to educate women and girls and help them about like with their nutrition and self-confidence from a psychological perspective and
Yeah.
things like that, I think would be really Pluto and Aquarius and very much help us to change the way that we see them. I just don't think we've changed the way that we see them yet.
Yeah.
And it just seemed like it was, kind of a commercial effort. Anyway, those are my thoughts on that. Okay, clearly more passionate about that than I even thought, but it did make the list. And then P. Diddy finally exposed after decades of his alleged offenses. He's not been convicted yet, but it doesn't look good for him.
Right.
Wow. I mean, that was a pretty intense moment in, I guess, our pop culture. These
Mhm.
things have been rumors and people have joked about them on different shows, but to see that that was really something real and that it was getting exposed, I think that that shows a shift in what's happening now. I think
Yeah.
that, things are just going to be coming out now and people have to really be genuine and show up. And I just don't think we're going to be platforming the same people in the future.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I think that's a good, yeah,
Hmm.
there's just so much to get into
There's
with
so
that,
much.
but yeah, I think there's, yeah, not platforming the same people or platforming people in the same way or excusing behavior or maybe being so dismissive of rumors, even,
Mhm.
maybe diving a little deeper,
Yes. Questioning things.
instead of
Mhm.
kind of making the joke right away,
Right.
kind of maybe taking a deeper dive and looking closer at things and
Mhm.
examining whether, this person is the right person to platform.
Yes,
Yeah.
totally. And then on a more positivity note, Trisha Paytas' comeback tour has just
Yes.
continued. And in my notes, I put a reminder for us all to manifest in 2025. It seems like everything that she spoke about in the beginning of the year is now coming to fruition here at the end of the year.
Yeah.
Everything from SNL. a Broadway, like one night only show,
Yes.
and getting to walk the wicked pink carpet. Those were some of like the big moments that she had. And I think that that is so amazing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I couldn't be happier for, somebody that I really feel like I only got into her like YouTube and like creator lore probably in the last couple of years, but I feel like she's been around for so long. And even if you think you don't know her, I feel like everybody who's watching knows exactly who she is. But, she's one of those people who have just, she's been in and out of pop culture. I would put her up there, with kind of those like OG reality show icons that we have that maybe you don't know, but you've seen the memes based on them.
Right.
She's just one of those people that are in our iconography.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. And I'm just, I'm like not surprised, but it's really nice that it's all kind of getting packaged up and happening at one time. And it really seems like she's in flow with things,
Totally. It seems like she's really like gained that momentum. And when we're talking about like what we all want to manifest for 2025, I thought that it was really interesting to see because I do watch her podcast, Just Trish. It's like my go-to, very lighthearted when I just, I don't want to think of anything deep. I just want to have something pink on my TV and they're just talking about pop
and
culture
she has the new podcast
and
too.
things. Yes. Like, oh my gosh. I mean, she's on a roll.
Yeah.
She's on fire, right? I don't know how she does the two podcasts, but
don't know.
right. But she, in the very beginning, she mentioned like wanting to be on SNL. I remember on episodes she mentioned wanting to be on Broadway and and like how much she loved Wicked and wishing that she could go there. And she was very genuine about it. I feel like she just kind of shamelessly said like, this is what I want. And she didn't care if other people thought that it wouldn't happen for her, if people laughed at her or whatever. And I really like that mindset for 2025 because it's like, why put limits on yourself? Because if you put it out there, you never know. It just might happen.
Yeah.
What's the downside?
I don't know if that's part of this shift because I feel like years ago it was cringe to like want something cringe to like say, oh my gosh, my dream is X. And it's like, ooh, you're cringe. That's corny. Or like, that's not cool. Like, like you, like you're
like play it cool.
Or whatever. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Like you're supposed to be like, oh, whatever. But now I think we are getting into a period of this authenticity and really embracing like who you are. And I mean, Trisha Paytas, she is, she's really musical theater. She's been out here like funding her own projects, doing things that, if you just put her, like just start searching her and you're going to be like, what? I didn't know she did that. It's the creativity is endless and bountiful. So it's just sort of like one of those things where you're like, she's always embraced that cringe. So I think that's something that, whether, like you said, whether other people judge her for it, she doesn't care. It doesn't seem to impact her. She still goes forward with it. So I got to give somebody like that a lot of credit who's really going for it and putting it out there until it happens.
Yes. I love that. Until it happens. Just like keep putting it out there. And also like sometimes I don't know, sometimes maybe the world isn't ready for what you're doing, but that doesn't mean it's not going to happen. So don't quit. And just like you said, and like we've been talking about this whole episode with Pluto shifting into Aquarius, if you're genuine, if you're excited, people want to be around that now. There is so much like, okay, the whole beginning of everything that I brought up, it was like, oh, like drama and this and that. And yes, I think there's a place for that in social media and there always will be. But now I think there's also this need for genuine joy and authenticity and people wanting to laugh and be lighthearted. And so, yeah, like just go for it. Eventually you're going to find your audience. Eventually you're going to find your thing. So that's kind of my little takeaway from that. I love that we're getting to see that. And I think it's going to continue. And next year is a 9 universal year. We've mentioned that already. And we talked about it in another podcast episode, but this is the year to really manifest it, put it out there and genuinely connect with other people. Social media is a good way to do that.
Yeah.
So to close this out, oh my God, hold on. Does it still count if you keep using your time cube to shift it?
Good question.
So I want to close out with a couple of your general predictions, LeAura, in a few categories. And you don't even have to, necessarily predict. You can even just say what you'd like to see
Oh, okay.
for 2025. Like if you were, if you had your Glinda wand and you were just like making it all happen, what you would like to see. So I would love to know what you would like to see in beauty, style, and pop culture. Like what are some trends that in your perfect world would be taking flight in 2025?
I think, let's see. So I think for beauty, I think, you know, a few years ago when Euphoria came out, it was all about that like sort of exaggerated makeup looks,
Yeah.
more intense, you know, looks on the eyes, glitters, shimmers, crystals, all of that. So I think we're still going to be in that phase of like adding embellishments
Love that.
and also making it like your own unique style, but also especially with eyeshadows, like the tonal shift, like the duochrome eyeshadows, things like that, but also
Pretty.
placement. So moving around the eyes too, and especially with the blush trend, like, you can play with highlighters. We also had, I talked about blush blindness and like overdoing
Yes.
it. I think back in probably around the 2016 makeup era, like that very specific like YouTube, moment where people were contouring and there was so much makeup.
Yes.
We had highlighter blindness.
LeAura.
Yeah, could be a little more playful maybe.
Love it.
Maybe even a little bit more unexpected.
Mm,
So it's
fun.
not like everybody's doing the same makeup. People are making it more unique to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of what I see. And
Okay,
then
that's fun.
Yeah. In terms of other trends, I think it's really going to be about, I think maybe what's the word I'm looking for? I haven't said this before, but maybe like kind of deconstructing
Okay.
maybe like I feel like there's been so much of a push with wellness where you've
Yes.
got to do a cold plunge. I did a cold plunge challenge at the
How
top
was
of the
it?
year. I went, I think, 21 days in
Oh
January.
my gosh.
It's fine. I mean, I
Yeah,
feel like I
it's fine.
tried to monitor things to see if it improved my life. And
Did it?
I don't think so.
She says
so.
no. I've done a couple cold plunges myself.
I don't mind.
I won't be doing it again,
the
but
cold
good for
plunges.
everyone who does it.
Yeah, I don't mind them, but for me as somebody like I'm not going like fully head in, but
My God.
it's a lot. And also I'm in New York City, so I have to go to a place that has it,
Uh-huh.
and you got to bring a bathing suit, and it's not like you're going for a swim or
Right.
doing you're just going into like you're doing the cold plunge for, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. I can't remember whatever I've gotten
right
up
in
to,
there.
and that's a sweet spot. And then that's it. So
And the science is conflicting on it.
Yes.
Some people swear by it. Some doctors say really doesn't do much. So
yeah. And personally, for
interesting.
me, as somebody who kind of, runs with a bit of anxiety,
yeah,
I've
so
heard
do
that
I,
it
my friend.
doesn't necessarily, kind of help calm that in my personal experience. So,
Okay.
so I think we might be moving away from like a little bit of things when it comes to wellness, like, oh, everybody's got to do this, wellness trend, and
like the
jump
one
on this
size
trend.
fits all kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
So
We're
kind of
individual.
really making it right for you, the right fit of,
Cool.
a little bit of mindfulness, maybe
Yes,
maybe being
important.
demure and mindful.
Being demure and mindful in 2025. Keep that trend going. I like that. Okay, that's cool. That's exciting. And then what about for pop culture? Is there anything that you think, I don't know, as far as like social media trends, or like definitely this year 2024 was the year of, with the North Node in Aries, South Node in Libra, it was like exposing negative relationships. Because Libra is all about relationships. South Node is taking things away, breaking things down. So definitely we were deconstructing our theory of what a healthy relationship is, and
I like
looking at
that.
trad wives, like all that stuff was huge.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
It was huge for the individual versus a relationship. How much do we give? All of that. So what do you think for the next year? I know this is very broad.
I know. I think we might just
curious.
be like re-examining things, looking at things from a different lens. Continuing on, but really kind of, we've, especially with, whether it's bad actors or just kind of looking at different lifestyles, and maybe looking at things from a different lens, that more Aquarian lens, and saying, is this something that's either not right, maybe from a moral standpoint, or just not for me personally, So I think it might be, something that we continue to examine things.
Yes.
And I think in terms of trends, like with, social media, with the TikTok ban looming that we've talked about, maybe it'll be time, especially, as you talk about like advancements in technology, maybe there will be other platforms that emerge, so we'll just kind of have to wait and see. And it might not be immediate. We might have a delay with the TikTok ban. It may be, banned immediately. So we kind of don't know. We'll have to see.
A lot of uncertainty right now.
Yeah.
For sure. And then just like how TikTok shaped and in a huge way shaped the type of content, maybe the new platform, if there is one, will shape the type of content.
Yeah.
Dictating things like the length of the content and the style and okay, very interesting. A lot going on to look forward to in 2025. And before we go, I'm going to pull a card just to kind of see. We're going to answer a couple of questions, but I'm going to pull like one card for each one.
Okay.
So very general. First question, what kind of content will be popular in 2025? We're just going to see what comes through.
I want to know this one.
7 of Wands. I don't see it slowing down or mellowing out. This is like conflict.
Okay. Drama. Okay.
So if you're here for the tea, there's going to be a lot more of that. Okay. So what about what are like the characteristics of the biggest breakout stars in 2025? I would say 2024, definitely Trisha Paytas, Tara Yummy. Now, some of these people both of them had like been on social media a long time, but I feel like they went more mainstream.
Yeah.
So what type of creator, let's see, is there going to be a breakout creator?
We have that trad wife. We have Nora Smith.
Right.
We have, definitely, lots of different types of content creators. Okay. What do we got?
10 of Cups. Love and relationships. I think people, because maybe last year things tend to boomerang, right?
Yeah.
Back and forth. I think because last year it was all about relationships that didn't work, especially when the North Node moves from the placement of Aries and moves into Pisces. Maybe we're all going to be feeling more romantic again and looking towards more romantic content and maybe a little bit more emotional and
maybe Selena
love
and
stories.
Benny will have a cooking show together.
LeAura, did you just I think that's what's going to happen.
Maybe.
Oh my God.
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Well, you heard it here first. She predicted it. I think that's 1000% going to happen. 100%. Yes. Okay. And then last but not least, how can TikTokers be successful after the app potentially becomes obsolete on January 19th? And will there be a new app to take its place? So first of all, how can current TikTokers become successful? When you get the same card twice.
Whoa.
Guys,
Okay.
the tarot tea is talking, as we say. And this is a haunted hotel room. So, definitely we're going to put a little more credence into this. So 7 of Wands. So by being, I hate to say this, but I guess by maybe fighting for what you believe in on a maybe more positive note.
I like that spin. I was just going to say lean into the drama, but
leaning into the drama, maybe a little combination of both.
Okay.
And then will there be a new app when TikTok, as of now, becomes obsolete? 4 of Cups, disappointment. I think it's going to take a little while.
Wow. Okay.
It's going to take a little bit of a while. Let's see. 4 could also be talking about the number of months. I don't think number of years, but it might be like 4 months after the January 19th ban.
There could also be a lot of stop-start too, because there's always things that are emerging. Like right now, people are talking about, the alternative to Twitter or X, Blue Sky, and will that take off? We don't know, but that's not the same type of platform as TikTok. So, you may have something emerge and it may not be able to it might not be ready for prime time for, for lack of a better expression, especially with video apps, like even short form or long form aside. I mean, I really think 2025 is going to be the year for YouTube. I know it's I agree with you. You're probably watching us on YouTube.
But I agree with you though.
But I really think with the emergence of YouTube Shorts lending itself to short form content, I think what I've heard is that they are going to update sort of the way that you're able to kind of find the shorts content. So maybe that'll be the answer, at least for right now. And maybe that's a temporary thing, or maybe that's kind of where creators will bring their audiences. And maybe
I like that.
I don't know.
So if you're someone who was, really into TikTok, maybe start uploading YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
And if you haven't uploaded and you want to, be like Trisha Paytas, push through your fears and start uploading YouTube Shorts, okay? Put yourself out there. We're going to love you.
Yes.
And then, LeAura, should I pull one positive message only card for each of us for 2025?
Please.
Only positive messages.
Positive.
Okay.
Yes. Positivity.
So, positivity only to end the episode. Okay. For LeAura, positive message. What is something good coming her way? Okay, so the Two of Swords, where there has been indecision, you will find clarity in 2025. If there's anything that you've been on the fence about as far as making a change in your life, and this could be anything, you are going to have clarity in 2025. Finally, you're going to know what to do to move forward. And 10 of Pentacles, it's going to lead to a lot of money.
Oh.
So this might be a career thing. Or you could get 2 offers because we have the number, or the Two of Swords. That's also communication. You work in media. So you could also get 2 offers to work in media. 10 of Pentacles, both being extremely lucrative.
Okay.
So it's going to be a really good career year for you.
Great.
All right, let's see what I got. It's always hard to read yourself.
Positivity only.
Positivity only. 8 of Pentacles. I'm still on my grind.
Okay.
I'm going to be working hard, baking that cake.
You are.
Hustling.
It looks beautiful.
Okay. It is looking nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, delicious. And then, the High Priestess. As always, we're going to be spilling tea all year, you guys.
Royalty.
The royalty, the positivity. Look, there's even a little, what do you call it? A little fortune-telling globe on her head. What do you call that? Guys, I think we're going to take things to the next level with the podcast.
Love it.
And hopefully with the TV show too. Okay.
Yeah.
So more of the same. I don't mind that. And for you, congratulations. It's going to be it's going to be a good year.
I'm excited.
I'm excited too. All right, you guys. Well, I hope you're also excited about your new year. I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being so supportive. It's been such a fun year. And I can't wait to just keep doing more of the same. LeAura, thank you for being here. Please tell everybody where they can find you and follow you on all the platforms.
Thank you for having me. And you can find me on Instagram at LeAura and at What's Your Skincare Routine. And also my podcast is What's Your Skincare Routine with LeAura Luciano.
So good. All right. Have a great year.
Bye.
Well, we'll see you.
See you.
But I'll see you in the year. Okay.